because we did. I dance because we could. I dance to show the world. I dance to show the good. I dance to feel you near. I dance to hold you dear. I dance to be alive. I dance to honor night. On days that sadness wins, on nights that seem too cold, I know just what to do when it's you I wanna hold. I start to feel the beat, let it move into my soul, then I no longer feel alone. The rhythm makes me whole, yes. We may now be apart, but you dance in my heart, and all the joy you bring still leads my heart to sing, yes. Your memory is strong, it's like a favorite song, and as I spin and sing, I feel the joy you bring, yes.
Dance, 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 oh dance, 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 oh dance.
I dance because we did. I dance because we could. I dance to show the world. I dance to show the good. I dance to feel you near. I dance to hold you dear. I dance to be the light. I dance to honor night.
Dance, dance, oh dance, yeah dance.
I dance to honor night.
Dance, oh dance,
On days that sadness wins, on nights that seem too cold, I know just what to do when it's you I wanna hold. I start to feel the beat, let it move into my soul, that I no longer feel alone. The rhythm makes me whole, yes. We may now be apart, but you dance in my heart, and all the joy you bring still leads my heart to sing, yes. Your memory is strong, it's like my favorite song, and as I spin and sing, I feel the joy you bring, yes.
dance, oh dance, yeah dance, oh dance, dance, oh dance, dance, oh dance.
I dance because we did. I dance because we could. I dance to show the world. I dance to show the good. I dance to feel you near. I dance to hold you dear. I dance to be the light. I dance to honor nights. So I don't feel the memories. No, I don't sit and cry. Just because the time had come for us to say goodbye. Instead I start to move across the dance floor. It's so wild. As soon my body starts to feel the love I have inside for you. The love I have inside for you. The love I have inside for you. For you, for you, for you. For you, for you.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
The ultimate grift continues as Donald Trump is granted immunity from the IRS. Why aren't you and I? Wait, I know the reason. We'll talk about it. Don't go anywhere. And so much more, too. The Mandalorian is out.
Now it's showtime.
It is the Karel Show. I am Karel. So very glad you are joining me on this whirlwind cavalcade of what we call the Karel Cast or the Karel Show, depending upon when you joined us, because we have certainly changed our name over the Karel Show, Karel Cast, Karel this, Karel that. Who the hell are ya? We're trying to figure out who it is and who we are and where we are and what we're doing, but that's okay. That's all okay. All right. I am trying to be of good mood and good spirits. I am trying not to, how do I say this? I am trying not to be so depressed because yesterday, I have to tell you, I threw my hands up in the air, just said, you know what? I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I can't take it. I don't want to talk about this tomorrow, knowing that I would have to talk about it and knowing that I don't want to. And I don't want to. And yet I got to because I'm here with you all. And I love you all. And I want to talk about things with you. But yesterday when they announced that Donald Trump and his children, okay, would not be subject to IRS audit. They would not be subject to back taxes. Basically, once again, putting himself above the law. Proving that if you're rich and or president or both, that you are above the law. And, you know, I don't know how his supporters reconcile this anymore. I really don't. Because if any one of them had dealings with the IRS would take their homes, would attach their pay, garnish their wages, all kinds of stuff would happen. Okay? But for him, nope. Not only that, but then they're going to set up this $1.7 billion slush fund to literally pay people who committed open treason and sedition on television. People who erected a noose to hang the vice president of the United States. And these people will now be able to get money. And so we have an out-of-control president, not reined in by Congress. In fact, Congress gives them a rubber stamp. The Supreme Court gives them a rubber stamp. Now the IRS will not even audit him or collect back taxes from him, so he can commit any crimes he wants on his tax returns, and any crimes that he's committed so far on his tax returns or any monies owed will not be owed. But you and I, the people that pay his fucking salary, the people that pay for the IRS, the people that fund Congress, if we owe back taxes, if we're on audit, they're going to hang us fucking out to dry. So I got very, 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 very just done. I just thought, A, I don't want to talk about it anymore. But more importantly, he's won. You know, one of the reasons I stopped watching The Boys, and The Boys is now over. It finished last night. But one of the reasons that I don't watch The Boys is because it just got too depressing. Because badness kept winning. You know, and I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, you know, I can't take where badness just always wins. I can't do it. And so I stopped watching it because I thought, you know what? Badness is winning and I can't take it. And I don't want to take it. And I'm tired of a show that lets the bad guy win all the time. You know, I'm sick of it. So for me, it was too much. I couldn't watch it. I'm like, no more. And it's getting that way now with America for me. You know, it's getting to where every day he wins, every day he proves that he is above the law, and every day his supporters prove they don't care. And so it really makes me just want to throw my hands up and say, then screw America. You know? When we come back, there's a chart that is even more depressing. You might like the chart, but
if you're not visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast, videos, and the blog, including recipes at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
All right, so they want us to think there's some good news in so much as Trump's approval rating is pretty much underwater in almost every state that has a brain. And here is a chart, but I'm going to show you why I'm depressed by this chart, okay? So here's the chart. So if you look, it says the blue dots are the approval, and the red dots are the disapproval. So in all, he's got a minus 37% disapproval rating. He's underwater in most states, all but 2 states, Wyoming and one other state. But that's not what's depressing. So if you look at 18 to 24-year-olds, huge, look right there at that blue dot, huge disapproval rating, okay? And if you look at, what is that, 25 to 49-year-olds, still huge disapproval rating, huge, big gap between the two. But as you age up, 31 to 64, it's almost equal. Almost as many approve as disapprove. And when you get to 65 plus, again, it's pretty damn close. And now what's scary is, remember, we are 52% over 50 in this country. So that's scary right there. Then look at the male. Men are not that far apart, approval, disapproval. Yes, he is underwater, but not by much. Women, much wider spread. More women disapprove of him than approve. Then if you look at non-college, it's almost equal because idiots are idiots. When you get to college, the spread gets wider between approval and disapproval. And remember, disapproval is the red, blue is the approval. If you look at postgraduate degree, hardly any of them approve of him. And then more than just a lot disapprove. And that shows you that the more educated that you are, the less likely you are to approve of Donald Trump. So when I say MAGA is filled with idiots, here is the proof. I'm not just disparaging MAGA. There's the proof. People with postgraduate degrees hate Donald Trump by a wide margin. People with college degrees hate Donald Trump with a pretty wide margin. People just with some college, not so much. And then look at the demographics. White people, they're almost split, 50-50, white people. Hispanics, much larger disapproval than approval. That, by the way, is new. That has flipped. Black, look at that. I mean, that's almost both ends of the spectrum. You know, no blacks approve of him and most blacks disapprove of him. Go down and look at other races, same difference, okay? Same difference. And then Democrats, that's the biggest line there. Democrats, a majority disapprove, a majority, like 90%. But the scary thing is Republicans, the dots totally switch. When you get to Republicans, almost 90% approve of him, and only 10% disapprove. Independents, which is how we win elections, a large portion disapprove, 30+% disapprove. I'm sorry, 60+% disapprove, and only 30% approve. So you might be encouraged by that chart. I'm not. When it comes to older people, it's almost tied. White people, almost tied. And then a majority of the country, which is no college or little college, very close there as well. The only good parts of this are black people, Hispanics, independents, and really educated people. So that's the chart as of today. All in all, he is underwater. He only has a 35% approval rating, all in all. But, as I said, in some of those demographics, he actually isn't underwater at all. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is scary. That is the scary part, you know? And the key data point on the chart is independence, because that's, like I said, that's how we win elections. We get the independents to vote Democratic, or at least not vote for the Republican. So it's good that on this chart, and I'll show you the independents again, down there at the bottom. Here, let me stop your social media from scrolling for a quick moment so you can see the bottom of the chart. Let's see here. Go live. There we go. So look at the bottom. 30% of independents approve of him, while 60%, 65% of independents disapprove. The red dot is disapproval. So you've got like 60+% of independents disapproving of him, 30% approving. That's good. But look at the line right above it, Republicans. 85% of Republicans approve of him, and that's where I got depressed. Because I'd like to think that Republicans are still people. You know, for lack of a better word, or a lack of a better way to say it, I would like to believe that Republicans are still human beings. You know, that they still, you know, have some sort of semblance of sanity. That they wouldn't betray their country just for their guy. And this poll shows me that I'm dead ass wrong. That they often and will betray. Look what happened yesterday. What politician thinks it's a good idea to grant a president immunity from tax audits, immunity from paying back taxes, putting a president above the law? Who thinks that's a good idea? Obviously, Republicans. And so I don't know about you, you know, it just hurts to see the bad guys win over and over and over. And while I never thought I'd find myself saying this, we talked about RuPaul yesterday saying, well, there's nothing left to do but dance and have joy. Maybe RuPaul is right. I mean, I hate to say that, but the train has left the station. The Republicans are never going to vote against Donald Trump. And in yesterday's primaries, all the Republicans that he backed won. Now, I know you're going to say, well, that could backfire on him, Karel, because, you know, the ones that did win, they're not that liked, and Democrats could beat those. Yeah, sure. But why anyone would vote Republican at this point, why that party gets any votes whatsoever, is the scary part. That's the scary part. Would Nazis get votes today? Yes, they would. I mean, I know that's sad to say, but would Nazis get votes? If someone ran from the Nazi party, would they get? Yeah, they would. Would they get a lot of votes? No, but they'd get some. The problem here in our country is they get a lot of votes. And I almost think that American culture is irredeemable. I really think and you guys are going to be like, what? I really do believe it's time to talk about splitting up the United States. I really, truly do. This has shown me that they're not Americans. They don't want the Republicans, and I don't just mean MAGA. Republicans do not want America a constitutional democratic republic. They don't want it. They want an oligarchy because most of them are oligarchs. And the idiot Republican voters are so uneducated, that they just don't really know. I mean, we have idiots in our chat room calling us sick and evil. They vote for a guy who just got immunity from the IRS, something they will never have. Okay? If all the people making bad comments about me and about you got in trouble with the IRS, they would take their homes, garnish their wages, ruin their lives. But they just told the president they're not going to do that to him. They just put a president above the law. Can you imagine how their little MAGA heads would have exploded if they did that to Joe or Hunter Biden? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if their heads stayed on their swivel if Joe Biden or Hunter Biden had been given this kind of immunity? Can you imagine? They would have died. Their heads would have exploded. They would have just said America is over and it's done. But because it's their guy getting immunity from the IRS, because it's their guy setting up a $1.7 billion slush fund for criminals. The New York Times headline, Trump's slush fund will go to criminals. Can you imagine if Hillary Clinton had set up such a fund to give money to her allies? They would have exploded. They would have exploded. And these morons, with their lack of education, with their belief in a fairy tale God, a God that would throw them in hell. No MAGA voter will get to heaven if there is a God. None. God will not let someone into heaven that votes for someone like Donald Trump. God and Jesus would never let someone into heaven that supports a rapist, supports someone who allegedly has sex with underage children, supports someone who is a criminal, a dictator, a fascist. God and Jesus would never support anybody who supported them. So they claim they're godly, but they're not. They're not, because they support the Antichrist. If there were to be an Antichrist, he would be Donald Trump. And I have the proof that they're uneducated. I mean, I have the proof. I have the receipts that MAGA is uneducated. Here it is, right? You want to see it again? You want to see the proof that MAGA is uneducated? Here you go. Right here. Take a look. Look at the people with no college and see how many of them approve of Donald Trump. Like, how many is that? Let me take a look. Non-college, 40% approve of Donald Trump. That's MAGA. Then you get to college and you have, only 32% that approve of Donald Trump. Then you get to postgraduate and it goes down to 23% that approve of Donald Trump. The smarter you are, look at that curve from non-college to college to postgraduate. The smarter you are, the more you disagree with Donald Trump. I mean, that's just 10,000 voters being surveyed. I got the receipts. Okay? The less educated you are, the more you support Donald Trump. And there's the receipts right there. So the question becomes, what do we do with a nation that is filled with people that are so stupid that they support this guy. Because today they should be calling for his resignation. MAGA should be. The Law and Order Party. The party that says they are about law and order. This guy just got granted immunity from committing crimes, which is what the IRS audit, goes and looks for. This guy just got a free pass. And his family, his criminal family, got a free pass. MAGA doesn't get a free pass. Anyone in MAGA that's dealing with the IRS, they're still going to have their wages garnished. They're still going to have their assets taken. They're still going to be audited and fined. But their leader? Nope. How they stomach that, I don't get. I really don't. How they stomach that kind of inequality, I'll never understand. And it's because they're idiots. It's because they are uneducated. And there we go. They're just uneducated. And there's a chart right there that shows it. I am not making this up. I can show you the chart again. The more educated you are, the less you approve of Donald Trump. It's right there on the chart. Right there. So, and we, and I had to talk right through the commercial break because everyone says, oh, there's no correlation between education and the support of Donald Trump. And yet I have a chart that shows you the direct correlation between education and your approval of Donald Trump. I mean, it couldn't be any more plain. It is right there. Right here. Here it is. Look at the red dots. Okay, look. Look for yourselves. Don't believe me. Look at the red dots. The red dots are disapproval. Okay? So if you have no college, it's almost only separated by about 15% approve or disapprove. College, the gap gets much bigger. Postgraduate, the gap gets much bigger. There is a direct correlation between education and support of Donald Trump. RuPaul was right again. For 45 years, we have dumbed down Americans, and this is what we get. And the sad part is, we did it really well. It worked. It worked. The Republican plot to overtake our government and milk it dry of all of its money is working. Democrats aren't stopping them. We should not be rounding up immigrants and putting them into camps. We literally should be rounding up MAGA the way they're harming America. And I mean that. Just like we should have done to people post-Civil War. We should not have let Civil War veterans from the South go back to their families. We should have put them in jail for treason. That was our first mistake that Abraham Lincoln made. We should have put anyone that fought for the South in jail for sedition and treason. Period. Because that's what they committed. And now it could be argued that MAGA is doing the same. Supporting a man that wants to give money to people who were seditionists. People who went out and built a gallows. Okay? These people do not belong in this country in polite society. If you support someone who completely and totally wanted to hang the vice president, then I got to tell you, you're a traitor. There's no other way to say that. You are a traitor. So, and they're always so quick with, you don't belong in my country. Get out of my country. The MAGA is so quick to tell everyone to leave until we tell them to leave. Until we tell them, you're not American. The form of government that you support is not the form of government we have in America. We have a constitution that says all people are equal under the law. That means Donald Trump should be equal under the law, which means if he committed tax fraud, if he committed anything that needs an audit, that needs him to pay back taxes, that was criminal, he should be prosecuted for that, not granted immunity. That's what the Constitution demands. But this is proof that MAGA doesn't care about the Constitution. They only care about blindly following an oligarch, someone they'll never be, a fraud. Buy my Trump phone. Oh, I'm not going to send you any Trump phones, and I'm not sending you any refunds. Buy my Bitcoin. Oh, it's worthless, but whatever. He's been convicted of fraud so many times, and yet they don't see it. They just don't see it, and that's the problem. Donald Trump isn't the problem. People that support Republicans and Trump, they're the problem. Because they're terminally stupid. And the chart proves it. Postgraduate work, college, you disapprove of him. But no college, just high school, well, then you're more likely to approve of him. Because you don't have any critical thinking. You're not able to. You don't know how. You were never taught. Look, it's not really MAGA's fault that they're idiots. It's not. They didn't get a good education in school. They were so worried about gays or trans or, whatever. They weren't worried about school shootings or education. They were worried about who's in what bathroom. Well, that's what you get. When you get people who are more worried about who's using the bathroom at the school than what they're teaching the kids at the school, this is what you get. And it makes me wonder, is the U.S. irredeemable? Is the United States past the tipping point to where there really is no saving it now? Is there no, saving it? Because it seems to me like there may not be any saving it. It really seems to me like it's irredeemable at this point. I don't think one midterm election is going to solve the problem. I don't. And in 2028, even if a Democrat wins the presidency, it's not going to silence MAGA. It's not going to remove Republicans from the halls of Congress. Every Republican senator and congressperson should be thrown out for sedition, for supporting a seditionist. Every single one. And John Fetterman included. They should all be shown the door. But no one's going to. I don't know why. I guess we don't want to survive as a country. I really believe that MAGA and the Republicans want this to be the end of America. They want a theocracy, a Christian theocracy, and they want it to be a white Christian nation. That's what they want. And that's not what we have. So they're fighting to get something that is not there. We're already minority majority. There's already more minorities in America than white people. And that scares MAGA to death. So they'll support whoever if they think it's going to get back their white majority, their white, straight Christian majority. And it's not. They don't care. They're going to keep doing what they can do.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karel Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karel Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy.
Now it's your time.
Sorry, someone in the chat room said, well, at least the KKK had a sense of fashion and wore a dress with their silly hats. Oh, God. You know, this is my point. You see the comments in the chat room right now from people. These are irredeemably stupid people. They're hateful. They're bigoted. They're just stupid. They have, I don't know of anything so stupid as them. A rock, perhaps, because it has no brain. I don't know. I don't know. Even a rock has sense enough to just be a rock and not try to be something it's not. These people try to actually weigh in on matters of state, which they know nothing. They actually think that it's helpful to say, oh, you're a queer, you're this, you're that, your Democrats are evil. They actually think that that's helpful, that does anything. And they're suffering under the guy that they support, and they're too stupid to know it. They are the frog in the water. They truly are. They were thrown into a pot of water, and when Trump was elected, the gas was turned on. And now the pot is starting to boil, and they're just sitting there. They will poach in the pot that Trump put them in instead of jumping out like a frog. If you take a frog, put it in cold water on the stove in a pot, turn the pot on, turn the gas on, as the water gets hotter and hotter, the frog will just stay it. It'll boil. That is the perfect analogy for MAGA. Trump has turned up the heat. Gas is $5 a gallon for nothing. For a war we didn't want, for a war we didn't need. So gas is $5 a gallon. Groceries are out of control. Cars are $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. Houses, mortgage interest rates went up again today. Housing becoming more unaffordable. Rents soaring out of control. And they think he's doing a good job. Meanwhile, all he has done is concern himself with his own self-interest. His own lawsuits, his own self-grandizement. He's done nothing to help the very people that elected him. In fact, he's made their lives worse. Why aren't they smart enough to know that? You know? And the only truth that Donald Trump has shown is what hateful, ignorant bigots MAGA is. That is the only truth that Donald Trump has shown, is how many hateful, racist, bigoted homophobes are in the United States. That is the only thing his presidency has shown. How many uneducated, racist, bigoted, evil, homophobic, transphobic, anti-immigrant, anti-woman, white people there are in the United States. That is all his presidency has shown. The only truth that his presidency has shown is how horrible these people really, truly are. They now wear their stupidity with pride. They should have a stupid pride fest because they show, well, they are. They're having that WWE thing at the White House. That is like a stupid pride fest. Because it's stupid to follow someone who's made your life worse. It's dumb to follow somebody who doesn't care about you, who only cares about himself. That's just dumb. You know? And so you got people that, drink the Kool-Aid. You got people whose lives are not better because of the person they support, but they still blindly support him. And they are a weight on this country. They are bringing us down. That's why I'm all for the country breaking up. Let them have the Republican Party. Let them have people that don't think about climate change, that don't worry about education, that don't value art, literature, diverse opinions. Let them have people who don't value the American values of we welcome all people here. Let them have it. We should just leave. The blue states should get out and take our money
If
with
you're
us.
not visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
See, here we have someone in the chat room. Jesus was against women's independence, gay, LGBT, and black. Really? Show me in the Bible where it says that. Show me in your fairy tale, in the 10 Commandments, show me where it says thou shalt not have an abortion. Show me in the 10 Commandments where it says thou shalt not get same-sex marriage. Show me in the 10 Commandments, because I recall it saying thou shalt not kill. And I recall it saying thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet. That's what I remember. Thou shalt not commit adultery. And yet they support a guy who committed adultery 4 times. Once while his wife was pregnant with a porn star. They want to use the Bible against people, but they have no comprehension of the Bible. They don't know what it says. They have no idea who wrote it. They know nothing because they're ignorant. And ignorant people cling to fairy tales to bolster their own opinions. Trust me, if there were a Jesus Christ, he would let gay people into heaven and keep MAGA out. Why? Because he said, judge not lest ye not be judged. Because he said, love thy neighbor as I would love thyself. It's pretty simple. So you know what? I'm done. I'm done with them. I'm done with Trump. I'm done with all of it. You know? I'm just done with it. And, you know, all the candidates that won because he endorsed them, they're going to lose in the midterms. And Republicans are terrified of that. They're like, no, the other candidate stood a better chance against the Democrat in the midterms. And so now they've actually helped Democrats, but they're too dumb to know it. All the opinion polls today show that if an election were held today, Democrats would sweep every single candidacy, president, vice president, and every Senate and every congressional seat. All the polling shows. So let them enjoy their little victories that they're having in the primaries. Come the general, guess what? They're going to lose. And then what are they going to do? What do you suppose MAGA is going to do when it's no longer in power? I think they're going to implode. I do. I think their heads are going to pop. They're going to start getting violent. Oh, you're going to see an increase in violence when the Democrats win. And when the Democrats win and impeach Donald Trump, you're going to see violence. When they impeach J.D. Vance, you're going to see violence. And in 2028, when no Republican wins the House or the presidency, they're going to explode. And they're going to scream rigged. And they're going to scream that it was fixed and the mail-in ballots this and the voting machines. The very things that they used to put Donald Trump in office. When those very things put a Republican or a Democrat in office, they're going to scream that it's fixed, it's rigged, it's wrong. Well, that's how your guy won. And that's again because they're ignorant. I have the chart to prove they're ignorant. But I don't think I want to be in a nation that fights that much. I'm kind of done with it. You know, I really am. I think MAGA is a cancer that has made America terminal. And I think the only cure is to cut it out, which means for America to break up. The blue states need to become their own country. They have more money. The red states will die. If the blue states leave the union, the red states die. All their social programs go away. Their roads turn into dust, basically. Their schools are not funded because every motherfucker in every red state around relies on the money from the blue states to live. And they have the nerve to do anything but say thank you. They have the nerve to call us names when we fucking pay their bills. We need to stop. California should stop sending money to the federal government. Washington, Oregon, Massachusetts, Delaware. Every blue state should stop sending money to the federal government. And guess what? Red states die. They wouldn't even be able to have elections. They'd have no money. They're broke. Red states are broke because the people in them are too stupid to make an income. They suck up the money. Public aid, Social Security, Medicaid, disability, public services. They take $2 from the federal government for every dollar they give. That's a fact. Red states take $2 in federal aid for every dollar they put in, while blue states give back. Well, it's time to take our money. You know? Time to take our money. Time to take our money and say, bye, bitches. Enjoy poverty. Enjoy Donald Trump. When there's no money in it anymore, he'll leave your ass. When MAGA is of no more good to Donald Trump, he'll leave him. He don't care about them. He'll leave. He'll go to Russia or some other country with no extradition and leave all of the people that supported him behind in squalor. Because that's what his plan is. Him and his lackeys, their plan is to milk the federal government for every bit of money they can get and leave it broke. Because they don't care. And people don't see that. People don't see that. You know, they just don't see it. So there we have it. That's life. And the trolls are out in full force and, you know, whatever. Who cares? Who cares? These chatters in the chat room that are disparaging me can't lick my fucking boots. They don't have my credentials. They haven't spoken to the people I've spoken to. They're not nearly as educated as me. So who cares what these maggots think? You know, they support a criminal. They support a movement based in racism and bigotry and homophobia. Who cares? These people are lowlife. You know, on the grand scale of evolution, they haven't. You know, they have not evolved. They can use a computer and they can type. Whoop-de-fucking-do. You know, who cares? I'd rather sit here and talk the rest of the day about the Mandalorian. Because Star Wars has kind of lost its charm in many ways, and I'm hoping that the Mandalorian brings it back. Because I love Pedro Pascal. I love that he's gay, or bi, but I think gay. At least he's dating a man, so that pretty much says gay to me. But, you know, but I love that. I love he's handsome, and he's talented, and he's gay, or at least bi. But I do like Grogu, you know, the little Yoda, baby Yoda. But when you're living in dystopian times, Star Wars suddenly seems a lot more relevant than it did back in '76 when it came out. You know, back then, we hadn't even gotten to Reagan yet. And I think Star Wars flourished under the Reagan regime because people felt like Reagan was the evil Dark Lord of the Sith and all of that. And so now I'm wondering if this is going to be very relevant, The Mandalorian and Grogu, or if they're going to punt and not really have the whole truth to power thing like they did in the originals. So, you know, we'll see. But it opens this weekend. It's going to do very well. Are you all going to go see it? I'm going to go see it. Just for Pedro Pascal. You know, go see it. And I have a Darth Vader mask from the movie, from the 70s. I have one of the special effects masks that they used for lighting and all of that. So I'm going to go see it for sure. Are you all? I want to go see it. I want to go see it. Because I'm thinking that it will be a nice distraction. You know? I mean, look what's going on. We have a CDC that's not ready for a real pandemic, and yet Ebola is making a move. We got Hantavirus on cruise ships. We got Ebola and an American with Ebola being quarantined in Germany. So that virus is trying to get up out of Africa. And we got a CDC that's been decimated. It's not ready for, look how Trump handled the last, COVID. He nearly killed us all, telling us to inject bleach in our bodies and things. So, well, he got the vaccine, but told everybody not to. So if another pandemic comes along, Trump and the CDC are not going to be able to handle it. And it looks like one is brewing, whether it's Ebola, hantavirus, something. There is a virus out there coming with our name on it. We'll see when it gets here. But it's coming. They always do. AIDS, COVID, vaccines, viruses, they come and they take over. So we're due for another. And we got Ebola spreading, and we got hantavirus spreading, and all these norovirus, we got all these things. And we have a CDC that couldn't handle it. So probably best, maybe it's best to just go to the movies this weekend and forget about all of this. Because, it's not going to get any better. Every day, there's just another headline that makes you want to jump off a bridge, But Star Wars used to be relevant. Let's hope it is again. Because look, if there's any hope, in The Boys, the season finale, that I stopped watching The Boys because the bad guys were winning too much. But I know the comic of The Boys, and I know that in the comic, Homelander does die. He loses power in the White House. He's in the Oval Office, and he loses power, and Butcher kills him. And so 5 seasons of Homelander being the greatest thing and able to do whatever he wants, proclaim himself a god, and in the final episode, he dies. Now, we can only hope that as a movement, Trumpism dies. After Trump is out of the White House, he's going to die. He's 80 years old. So, he won't be around forever. If he finishes his term, it'll be a wonder of modern science. So either he dies in office from, heart problems or dementia or the other things that he's got wrong with him, or he's defeated in 2028. And hopefully then Trumpism dies, like Homelander died. But life isn't a comic book. In Star Wars, in some episodes, bad wins. In some episodes, good wins. In the whole movie series, if you've seen all of the movies, in every movie, bad isn't always defeated. Well, that's because bad isn't always defeated. So we'll see. We'll see if a Democrat, if they sweep the midterms, and then we'll see if a Democratic candidate wins in 2028. And if they do, we'll see if they put an end to Trumpism and punish Trump. He's a war criminal. They've already talked about that in the press, in the foreign press, not our press. But they've already called him a war criminal for what he did in Iran, bombing civilians, killing children. He's a war criminal. So, and what he did in Venezuela, bombing those boats, deposing he is a war criminal. See, unindicted war criminal, but a war criminal. So maybe after he's defeated in 2028, he'll be tried at The Hague. He'll be like 83, 84 years old. So he might not make that. Who knows? Or he'll get on a plane as soon as he's defeated and fly to Russia, where they'll protect him from The Hague and they'll protect him from any prosecution. But what happens to his movement? Does that die with his presidency, or does it live on? We have yet to see that. We have yet to see. Maybe it'll live on. Maybe it won't. It takes time, It takes time. It took time for Nazism to disappear from Germany. It took time. It didn't happen instantly. There were still Nazi sympathizers after Hitler left office. There were still, people in the party after Hitler, left office and killed himself. So will that happen here? We don't know. We'll see it, because there's not that many of them. Everyone acts like there's so many people in MAGA. There's not. There's just not. And so we'll see. We'll see if afterwards there's enough people that defect from the movement. Because maybe there will be. You never know. Maybe there will be. So we'll see. All right, don't forget you can chat with me at youtube.com/Willie Karel. That's youtube.com/Willie Karel. Don't forget Patreon, patreon.com/Willie Karel, patreon.com/Willie Karel. Love to hear from you at contact@reallykarel.com, contact@reallykarel.com. When we come back, I want to talk about texting and what you should and should not text. Talk about that when we return.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way.
Now it's showtime.
All right. I'm just throwing out some people from the chat room. My people shouldn't have to put up with such ridiculousness. So out they go. So this morning, all right, so when I was in 5th grade, we were, of course, poor. And we lived with my Aunt Irene, and Uncle Jim in Texas, in Killeen, Texas, for 3 years. My 5th grade year, my 4th grade year, my 5th grade year, and my 6th grade year. We lived with my Aunt Irene, and my uncle in Texas. And they were ministers of the First Church of God in Christ. We lived with them because we were poor. I did not enjoy it. And my cousin was one of the first people I ever actually had gay sex with. Not willingly. I not unwillingly. It's just one night I found him doing something to me, and I was like, oh, that feels weird. Just went with it. And so, close family, my aunt was my father's brother or sister, and she was the only aunt that I really knew. I didn't know my Uncle Jim and Uncle George. I met them, but I was very young, and so I didn't really meet them. And my mom only had one brother, Uncle Ray, and he died when I was, I think, in 6th grade. So the only real aunt that I've known for a majority of my life was my Aunt Irene. And I went to Texas about 20 years ago to visit her in Harker Heights in Killeen. And afterwards, we stayed in touch on social media or via text messages. And her children, my cousins, we stayed in touch. And this morning, I get a text from my cousin, David, and it says, I just want to let you know that Mom passed away on Monday. And I was like, what? My only living aunt, my only living relative, really, outside of my sister, because all of my dad's brothers and sisters are gone. All of my mother's brothers and sisters are gone. And a majority of their children, my cousins, a majority of them are gone. So one of my few remaining relatives on the planet dies, and her son sends me a text. I just wanted to let you know Mom died on, and she died on Monday. And today is Wednesday. And then I said, well, when's the service? And he said, Friday. And I said, oh, I don't know if I can get there by Friday. He goes, oh, well, just send thoughts and prayers. And he said that because he's MAGA. And he said, well, just send thoughts and prayers. And I thought, oh, my God, that's what MAGA's answer to everything. And I thought to myself, I know I'm old. I know I'm old. I'm old. But you don't text about a death. There are some things you pick up the frickin' phone and you call. If you are telling someone a relative of theirs has died, you just don't do it in a text message. What is wrong with people? What have we become? What have we become? Do any of you think it's appropriate to find out someone has died on social media or in a text? I do not. I found out my friend Gary Bowie, who I was very close to, I found out he died on social media during COVID. Social media. And that's the third friend that I found out died on social media. The same with text messages. I have now gotten 3 separate texts. When Daniel Charleston died, I didn't text one person about the death. I called. I didn't send an email. I didn't do a post on Facebook. Nothing went on social media about his death until every single person that needed to be called was called. Because I know how to act right. It appears people today do not. And my cousin is my age. He's like 63. You know, he's not some young kid. If you're over 50 and you text someone that someone has died, you don't call them, you're just all shades of wrong. Do you all agree? No text messages for deaths. Have some decorum. Have some compassion. Have some empathy. Do not text somebody that someone has died. Don't do it. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. Maybe y'all think it's okay. Well, no, Karel, it's okay. You know, they're getting the message across. At least they're telling you. No. Do not send. That's like breaking up with someone via text. People do that. In today's world, people end relationships over text. I would be so happy if someone did that to me because I'd be like, the fact that you did this means that we shouldn't be together. Anyone that can break up with someone over a text message is someone you should not be with. And the same thing for like anyone that tells you someone has died over a text message is someone that you probably should rethink your relationship with. You know, and you're right, Ray. Nowadays, they never tell you how somebody dies. Ever. You have to do research weeks later to find out. It's like it's a 2-part story. So-and-so is dead. Stay tuned. You know, we knew the cause of death before. Now it's like, oh, so-and-so dead at 68 years old. And you're like, well, how did they die? And you read the whole story. Nothing. Undisclosed causes. Or they just don't list it. And then a week later, oh, cause of death revealed in the so-and-so case. You couldn't tell me that when they died? It drives me nuts. They just don't tell you anymore. It's like, oh, they passed away. How? Especially if they're younger. When you see these stories, you know, someone so-and-so dead at 43. You're like, well, how? You don't drop dead at 43. And they don't tell you. I'm like, whatever happened to a news story actually telling us the news? And if you're going to report someone as dead, then you should report how they died. But that just shows them, you know, like my cousin this morning didn't tell me how my aunt died. I know she was in a nursing home, but that was for her hip. You don't die of a hip problem. So I don't know how she died. Dementia or pneumonia or what? I don't know. He just texted, oh, I thought I would tell you Mom passed away. Not even passed away on Monday, just passed away. It's like, that's not a news report. That's just more questions. I am Karel. Be who you want to be. So it doesn't hurt you, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow, Thursday. There will not be a show Monday. It's Memorial Day. There will be a show Friday, however. There will be a show Friday this gay week. So tune in for that on Friday. But no show Monday because it's a holiday. Be sure you celebrate.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karel Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is to know